forget where this takes place. Like, I just don't recognize the name of the city that they kind of stated before.
Well, Valadilen sounds French to me. But thinking Syberia, I was like, that's not France, obviously. So I'm a little bit confused. But you said we'd be going to Syberia later, so I'm guessing this is French mountains, French Alps.
No. Where shall we go?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
All of these are options, right?
Yeah.
Why not go clockwise?
Oh, snap!
I think it's too much for our minds to handle.
Mind blown!
Oh, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Right, do we want to go left or right?
If we could inspect those automatons there.
Yes. Those robots, you mean? Just kidding.
They're called automatons. They have souls.
Just despite Mustache Man, I'm going to call them robots for the rest of the game.
You better not to at least one character that is a very fond one in this
Oh
game.
no.
His name is Oscar. You'll be kind to Oscar.
Okay.
He's a beautiful soul. Although he can be annoying, he's a very sweet soul.
I like how she's just trespassing on this property.
Yeah.
Like, oh no. With all the other buildings, she says, go down there. With this, she's pulling random things. Oh my gosh, cool.
Wow.
Yeah, if you walk in, it's like, try this.
Yeah.
See what happens. Looks like a production line, though.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what's on the left side now.
They all have top hats on too. That's a very interesting choice.
I mean,
Gives them character.
yeah.
Yes, hello?
Kate, what happened to you, my poor munchkin? I've been trying to contact you for hours.
I'm in Europe, Ma. Job thing.
What? Europe? My God. Oh, I've got such happy memories of Europe. Some of them even involve your father, but, where are you? Paris? London? Venice?
Valadilen. Yeah, I know. It's a bit out in the boonies.
What in the world are you doing out there?
You know, business. I've got to see through the takeover of some old family business that's got a few debts. It's a really charming place, but there's one or two weird things going on here. I can't go into it now.
Oh, well, that's right. Your old mother's too dumb to understand it. You really do take after your father sometimes.
Mother.
Kate, you'll never guess who I saw yesterday?
Ma, I haven't got a lot of time, you know.
Frank!
Ma, please.
Look!
I've got to go.
Frank! Frank Malkovich, the Russian opera singer.
that's something
Well,
else
maybe you don't
to
remember him. He was
So,
quite a star in his day.
Listen, Ma, I really don't have the time. I'll call you.
is as charming as he always was. We spent the...
Mom, I really have to go. I'll call you back, I promise. Lots of love.
Kate!
Kate!
Kate! Back.
See what's back here.
Ah,
It's Oscar!
I don't like Oscar right now.
Well, you'll
I
grow
hope
up.
Is
Oscar's
he
okay.
okay?
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, Oscar. Oh, hello.
Oh, many thanks indeed. I am most embarrassed for you to see me like this. I lack a certain completion. You see, nobody here found the time to polish off the finishing touches. Honestly, these days, we really have lost the art of good workmanship.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe.
Data.
With whom do I have the honor of speaking? Could you please state your identity, articulating clearly?
My name is Kate. Kate Walker.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Model XZ2000. My common name is Oscar. I represent the technological zenith of this factory's production. I have been designed to drive a locomotive. A touch messy, but an essential task.
Have you logged my first and last name?
Perfectly. Kate Walker. Pleased to meet you.
Me too, Model XZ 2000.
Please, all my friends call me Oscar. This fad for cryptic names is such a bore. Could you imagine being called by your passport number?
I suppose not, Mr. Oscar. Sir. Do you know where I could find the factory paperwork?
I cannot reply to this question with precision. Try Anna Vorarlberg's office above the machine floor.
When you are complete and totally functional, can you help me gather information about Hans Vorarlberg?
I'm afraid I can't, Kate Walker. Duty calls. Once I've recovered my feet, I have to see to my post on the train. It's waiting for its engineer.
Does the name Hans Vorarlberg mean something to you?
Of course, he created me. But I am sorry to say that I am yet to meet my maker.
Have you any idea where he might be right now?
No, Kate Walker, but I am sure I would experience great metaphysical satisfaction in his presence.
Amazing.
You said you were a train engineer? What train would that be?
But Kate Walker, you have not seen the magnificent train waiting at the station?
And where is that train going, Mr. Oscar?
The train is going far away. Very, very far away indeed.
Are you taking any passengers?
My duty is to drive the train. Above all, to avoid delays. An engineer prides himself on punctuality. I will agree with you, though, Kate Walker, that a train without passengers is hardly a train at all.
You haven't answered my question.
For further details, please consult Anna Vorarlberg.
Do you know Momo?
No, Kate Walker.
You are a very strange robot.
Automaton, if you please.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you.
Automatons have an additional soul auxiliary, you understand?
I think so.
Knew it.
Has it been a long time since you last saw Anna Vorarlberg?
72 hours, 32 minutes, and 20 seconds to be precise. This regrettable absence explains the delay in my production process.
Anna Vorarlberg is dead, Mr. Oscar.
What do you mean by the notion of death, Kate Walker?
Broken. Disactivated. Worn out. Damaged. Unplugged.
Oh, that really is most bothersome. I'd rather counted on finishing my production.
Can I be of use to you?
Why, you certainly can. I absolutely must have my feet. My hands are Model XZ2003. My feet are Model XZ2005_B. Be careful. The model
Underscore.
XC2005_A has evidenced some rather embarrassing performance failures.
Like bugs?
Automatons do not have bugs, Kate Walker. They simply display functional idiosyncrasies.
I'm sorry, I didn't know. What do I have to do to get you a pair of feet?
Use the assembly line to construct them. You will need a production punch card, on which is recorded my body design data. Here is my own punch card.
Okay, I'll give it a go.
Thank you, Kate Walker.
Oscar, I am delighted to have met you. See you again soon, I hope.
Yes, Kate Walker.
Okay, I do like him. I was worried though. I mean, that was a pretty terrifying image coming into that room. Ah!
So whatever you just have to take it to lunch.
And they both disappeared. Interesting.
We haven't checked upstairs, which is apparently her office.
And we had like 5 other pathways too to follow, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I think this is her office. It's like her office.
Nice.
Desk or cabinet?
Cabinet first?
Yeah. Puzzle? Press books in?
Oh.
So we picked this one up. We did get this though.
Ooh, yeah. Let's do it.
Hans, where are you hiding? We've got to go home. We're late. Very late. Anna, over there. What do you mean, over there? Please, Hans, we've got to go. It's a secret. You've got to swear. Okay. I, Anna Vorarlberg, swear to my brother Hans to never, ever mention this to anyone.
It's right there! You see? But it's dark in there. Don't worry, I took a lantern. From the factory. Girls, honestly. You won't look so clever when Father notices you've stolen one of his lanterns. Oh, I'm all covered in mud because of you. Look, Anna. Look. I've seen paintings like this in a library book. They're like you swore, Anna. It's a secret between you and me. Hey, look. There's something else up there. Oh, come on. It's like a toy. I have to have it. Give me some light.
But Hans, it's much too high. Do be careful, Hans. Hans, be careful.
For weeks, my brother lay in a coma, hanging between life and death. And then one morning he opened his eyes, but I knew he would never be the same again. We never did return to the cave, and to this day, I've never ever betrayed our secret.
Wow.
I love how intense the backstory is.
Yeah. That was a cool cutscene too. Interesting angles and
Yeah. That's the train that Oscar runs.
Pretty cool looking.
yeah, fancy. Unpaid invoices, the total debt of which, oh my gosh, that's a bit of money.
Francs.
Yes.
That many Martin shorts.
Yeah. I will be obliged to undertake legal proceedings against you. Oh dear. My desolving variance on years in friendship. Oh no! So you were follow-up letters, we notice that you still owe. Oh dear! A little bit more this time. 80,000 some. We are asking you to release the Wow. Okay, so she had some reason for selling the factory. You yourself admit for some time Rowan has become a financial liability due to state shareholder and partnership pressure. I am no longer able to underwrite your debts with the bank, blah, blah, blah. Please believe me, Anna, when I say that I offer this advice not just as a banker, but as an old friend, and there's nothing but good for you. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Invoices, invoices, more invoices. I never knew the factory was in such a bad way financially. These last 2 years must have been very hard for Anna Vorarlberg.
That drawer on the left. No?
Something that's sticking out so obviously.
One of those faulty drawers.
Dear Hans.
I know how much.
Oh yeah, actually, yeah, Maribela, you get to read.
I know how much you dislike the written word, but I do not have the time to forge you a voice cylinder. I imagine that someone in your entourage will be kind enough to read these few lines to you. I received your latest set of plans. Your project is extraordinary. Your all-time masterpiece, perhaps. Time seems to have had no effect on your genius. Quite the contrary. I'm proud of you, my dear little brother. Sometimes I find it hard to believe that a century has gone by since the last time I saw you. It only seems like yesterday that you rushed away from Belle-Delaine. We undertook production immediately, following your instructions to the letter. The locomotive was ready within a week. If only you could see it, but you will see it, that much I have promised you. It is magnificent. It seems impatient to set out on its maiden voyage. There is only Oscar left to build. I hope I will finish him soon, but as you can imagine, his mechanism is complex and takes a great deal of time and handiwork. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I understand you wish me to bring you that cursed prehistoric doll. The very thought of which, I wonder if it is still in the cave, and if it is, what state it is in. But what does 60 years matter, after all, to an object already several thousand years old? I am going to find it, Hans, I promise you. I have a bit of a nasty flu at the moment, which is running me down a little. I should be better in a few days, though. The sale of the factory is taking shape. The lawyer from New York should be visiting, and we will be able to sign the contracts. Then I shall... Yikes.
Yeah. So I'm guessing we're gonna have to grab that doll, and I'm wondering what stopped her from writing.
She looked like she was kind of crying a little bit too on the paper. Faint, so I don't know. She was 86, so it's kind of hard to say, like, whatever she had. It's hard to say.
Let's pull all the buttons.
Okay, well, we know we have to give this.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like that works. Doesn't look like that works.
Do we want all of the lights to come on?
That is a
I
good
think
question.
so.
Doesn't look like that works.
Let's just see what else is here.
Doesn't look like that works.
That definitely has to be there.
Doesn't look like that works.
Okay.
So
Well, hang on. What did you do in that room when you pulled that pulley thing down? Was that to like start the power?
I think so. Maybe there's something else we got to do in there. Because like there was 2 levers, right?
Yeah.
So let's give it a try.
May as well try.
Because I think you give him something to do with, and then it takes it here, and then
Yeah.
let's try in here again.
Wait a sec. But beside the door,
I
there
don't
were
do that
switches
again.
too.
Okay.
I don't know if they're part of anything though.
So I'm looking at it. Who knows? There might be stuff outside of the building. To check the other stuff
Yeah.
real quick. Because we don't even know which wood thing to pick for his legs.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, checking that would one by one would be too arduous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a lovely place this is, though.
Mhm. It almost looks like the factory from Thimbleweed Park. Just saying.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right. Where is this? Run, 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 run. Halt.
Stairs. Okay, so this is something, though.
Yes. Oh, a lever.
What does this do? Oh.
It's okay. With the depth perception, I thought it was going straight for her.
Yeah, same here.
Okay, that
Can
did...
you die in this game, Anafi?
No.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about dying. I think, again, it's been so long since I've seen I think the only time, well, even then, I don't think you can really die, is there's one part in the second one that involves a bear.
Oh,
But I think you're kind of, like, it puts you in tense situations, but you can never actually actively kill yourself,
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
okay, that's reassuring.
yeah.
Because every time to this point that we have picked a lever, I've been thinking, what if it's the wrong lever?
Pull the lever, Kronk. Wrong lever.
Oh dear.
I think this is the train.
Looks like it. This reminds me of Dishonored 2. A good game.
Great game.
Yes.
Never played it.
Okay, we're doing that eventually.
These shelves look as if they're made for valuable objects.
Shelves. Aw, that's beautiful thought.
Yeah.
Okay, the
like
music when it does that. Like, who's on the train with us?
Suspenseful music.
Yes.
Kind of interesting that the train only has one bed.
Just for you.
Well, it seemed in the letter though that the train would just be sent to wherever Hans is.
Yeah.
Train to Syberia.
Yes. Hey.
Hello?
You can't talk to him? He's just there? Okay.
I am sweeping, and it's a very, very busy task, so.
Is he a person or an automaton? Or a robot?
She says it correctly and then incorrectly. I believe he's a person. The only thing left is the front of the train.
Then we could get into the whole metaphysical argument. Are automatons people?
Let's begin, shall Corviri, you begin.
Hey, these are big questions.
Oh, they are. What is this soul auxiliary that they talk about?
Yes, exactly.
I like though how they're kind of hinting like the whole an automaton's quote unquote soul is related to music though.
Yeah, that's cool. Musical souls.
And I mean like you could see like after if he was in a coma he says he doesn't like the written word, so he kind of likes musical interpretation more.
Yeah.
He doesn't do well with reading probably because after he hurt his head it's probably hard to read.
Yeah.
I used to know what that brain thing was called. But I have forgotten
Door's
it
locked.
because I'm not
I've
in
still
university
got to get
anymore.
in there.
We'll figure it out by the next episode.
Yes.
The sounds of her running are very calming. It's like minor ASMR.
Oh, that's its own beast.
I need a key.
Oh, we don't have a key thing. It has the same shape though as that other thing.
Hmm.
It's a very tall ladder. Oh, it's locked.
The door's locked, but I've still got to get in there.
Mm-hmm.
Why? You had no need to go down there with many other places. So why?
No need to go down there.
Ooh, a maze. Oh, snap.
It's gonna be fun.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hello.
Good morning. You've got a magnificent garden here.
Oh, please don't talk about it. Since my gardener automaton broke down, there are weeds everywhere. You can't imagine how much work it takes me. I don't know whether I'm coming or going. We're not used to doing without our robot help here in Veladiland. But everybody says that we're going to have to get used to it.
Veladiland.
Oh boy. Left or
She's
right?
so sassy.
Oh my goodness. Left or right?
I'm intrigued by the statue.
Yeah, the statue looks like the gardener with her hand on her hip there. Oh, never mind.
Okay.
Oh, it's a pond. Okay.
Guess we have to go this way. Further one or closer one?
Let's enter the maze. Either or.
Further one.
Yes.
No point. It's locked.
Darn it.
Just kidding.
Pretty. Oh, cool. Hey, this is like that one Harry Potter game that was like, do you remember you had to go into, I think it was like a herbology class, and you had to like flipendo turtles and stuff, fire crabs?
Yeah.
Yes.
There were like gnomes. Gnomes in the garden.
I think it was the first one.
Yeah, actually I think it was a task for Hagrid or something.
Yeah, it's like
And there were a bunch of gnomes and beans.
There was like fires. There was a fire seed one, but then even just getting to herbology, you had to like do something in the hedge garden.
Yeah.
I ain't going on that ladder. That's tall.
You know who would go on that ladder? Zoe gets to go.
Yeah, Zoe gets to. That's a tall ladder.
Yes. Wow, she's fearless.
Needed to get into that building.
Yes.
Let's see, is there anything interesting?
Oh, snap.
Oh, this is gonna be a lot of reading. Oh boy.
Yesterday, something terrible happened. Let's see. Okay, so that's about her little brother. That's about Hans falling. The second one, prehistoric man could have painted. Okay, the paintings on the wall and the children's toy. Aw, she's still writing about Hans. Yeah. That's beautiful. What's that? Still does not regain consciousness. He will pull through. He never gives in. I cannot think of anything else but Hans. It is the only place where I find. Okay, so the attic. She comes to the attic to find peace. 5 days have passed. Okay, suspenseful music. 5 days have passed since the accident. And still not as open as eyes. Please God protect him. Oh my gosh. I feel so desperate. Oh, Hans, don't leave me here. It's happened. Hans is coming back to life. He opened his eyes. He uttered my name. My name! Do you realize this is the happiest day of my life? I want to take to the streets and sing to proclaim my joy to the world. Thank you. Oh, thank you, God. How wonderful, how beautiful life is. Even Father smiled at me today when he said good morning. I don't know whether I'm coming or going.
One moment.
I can't read it.
One moment.
Oh no. No, I really can't read it. I cannot think of anything else. It is very curious. When the house is hungry, thirsty, or hey, can't bear when I leave him. I should move my bed into his room. It is the first day that Hans is at the house. Went for a short walk. He said we should be patient. We shouldn't rush him. It's so hard, though. I hope so much that life can return to how it was. Hans has been out of his coma for a month now. He still doesn't say much. How often he reacts to his name several times before he reacts, and he will smile. And when he does, the moment is magic for me, and I couldn't possibly be happier. I had to talk to him. The burden was too great. Asked him about the accident. Only one word, mammoth, and his eyes glowed so strangely when he said it that he frightened me. Despite Gertrude's kindness and attention, I have the impression that Hans is much less nervous when I'm around. While I was doing my homework yesterday, Hans crept up on me so quietly that he made me jump. He took a pencil and a blank sheet of paper and curiously started drawing. Okay, first time he's done that since anything but debut. He scribbles almost obsessively. Hans is trying to draw mammoths. Today is my birthday, and Gertrude has made me an apple pie. The best present I could ever have is to see Hans back on the way to recovery. Snow is falling. It is so beautiful. The doctor visited to examine Hans. He seems happy that my little brother has fully recovered his faculties. Truly is a miracle. I don't understand why he doesn't talk more, though. Why isn't he livelier like he was before? It's Hans' birthday. Today's he's 11. I have the strangest of impressions that actually he has lost 5 years rather than gained one more. Doctor's just left. At the age of 15, you can understand everything. I am too scared to ask Father what is happening. I've been thinking, and it seems to me that Hans's attitude isn't normal. The shock of the fall and his coma must have had much more serious effects than we first imagined. My dear brother, what is happening to you? I've discovered the truth. Hans is stunted physically and mentally. I eavesdropped a conversation between the doctor, Father, and Gertrude. Oh, dear. Father muttered this word under his breath. How could he say such a thing? It is Easter. We're on the school holidays. This means I can spend all day with Hans and protect him from Father's permanent dark moods. He cannot accept the fact that Hans, his only son, will stay in this state forever. It is truly difficult to accept, but it is not Hans' fault. Mine, maybe, but not Hans. No, it's not yours either. I don't know how to make Father understand. He seems full of hatred for him. It is dreadful. I feel so powerless. 1 year has gone by, and it feels like an eternity. The situation shows no signs of improvement, neither in terms of Hans' mental health or Father's attitude toward him. Extraordinary. Father has decided to take Hans to Paris for new tests. He says that only in the French capital will he find truly competent doctors. We must make Hans ready for the great expedition. No news from Father and Hans. She remains hopeful. They've returned. Hans rushed into my arms and started crying. Father is still as taciturn as he was before he left. The French doctors have confirmed the diagnosis. Hans will remain physically and mentally impaired. I am stunned. The summer is coming to a close. It has been less stifling than the last. I have difficulty imagining that he will not change. Father still says nothing and increasingly shuts himself away in his office at the factory. Gertrude tells me that love and faith triumph over any science. I lack neither. God be praised. Unfortunately, Father said nothing. I fail to understand why he insisted on bringing him to the factory. Father left for the factory with Hans once again. I think he wants to persuade Hans that he could be useful for something. It is his way of resisting fate. For a month now, every morning, Hans has gone to work with Father. I feel my brother's behavior has changed considerably. He is much less capricious. I could cry. Hans has made me a present, a small robot mammoth with a trunk that rises and falls. When Father saw it, he nodded his head in satisfaction. Both Gertrude and Father now have their own robot mammoths. Theirs are even more intricate and finely tuned. Little brother is not such after all. Hans' mammoths now walk, raise their trunks, and wag their tails. It's incredible. I met the head of the factory workshop, Mr. Grips, this morning. He says that for a young lad of 12, Hans is very gifted. It's a shame he only makes elephants. And then there's a little flower. Father and Hans were locked in a long discussion yesterday, or should I say Hans was locked in one of Father's long monologues. As it is inconceivable that Hans should go to school like other children, Father wants to take him on as a worker at the factory. However, Hans will have to stop making his own little devices. Hans's silence, his half-gaping mouth and staring eyes finally sent Father off in a rage. I tried to broach the subject with Hans. Learning a craft at the factory is his one chance to do something constructive with his life. He is so gifted. Did look like he wasn't listening to me, but I know he'll think about what I said. It's not that Hans cannot speak, it's rather that he doesn't want to speak. Me, but he's still very economical with his words. Incredible. Hans was not just satisfied with learning how the assembly line works. Instead, he has completely redesigned it. Father and Monsieur Grips are just taking a serious look at his plans. Father has wanted to talk to me about my future since I passed my exams. He wants to send me to university because he says my intelligence is astounding. My heart was beating so loud. It is true I do love studying, but I couldn't bear to be away from Hans. Had a ghastly summer. Found her own little mammoth broken. Hans had another fit of hysterics at dinner again. Father announced that Hans's new assembly line would soon be finished. However, they removed the automaton parrots, shout orders. Hans was livid. He hurled his soup dish to the ground and stormed off to his bedroom. What will happen between the both of them when I'm not here? Despite my scruples, I am finally leaving. Father will not understand if I told him why I wanted to stay. My heart is so heavy, so strange to be home. I had never left for home for such a long time before. So she was gone from October 17th till Christmas. Once we were alone, Hans did not stop talking. Words just leapt from his mouth. How we laughed at his excitement. He presented me with a delightful little ballerina to replace the mammoth, he told me. I was so touched that I started crying. Distance has done nothing to harm the strong bond between us. Strange to pick up this diary once more. This is quite a bit later, 1937. Resisted and said succumbed to my second desire, which was to write for a while. I'm alone in my attic once more. I have been home for 2 months now, after a summer spent living with the intense joy of being reunited with my brother. Father is aged, so and Gertrude's arthritis causes her terrible pain. All in all, these last few years have been kind to Father and Hans. They still do not exchange much conversation, but they now have a thing in common, the factory. I'm even beginning to feel a bit jealous, silly really. Hans hasn't changed. To help Gertrude, he has designed a totally automated kitchen, and Gertrude can't stop moaning at the wooden puppets. Oh, how I adore them. I want to go and see Father. I hadn't been at the factory for ages. I like Father's new office very much. Hans has a small workshop on the first floor crammed with odds and ends, unfinished robots. The factory is working very well. Orders for toys keep coming in, spurred on by the run-up to Christmas. Now I know the effect that Hans's genius has had on the factory's renown. To make myself useful, I started helping Father set his papers in order. The most extraordinary thing of all is that for the first time ever, I have the impression that the three of us form a real family. Hans never ceases to surprise me. Between home and the factory, his behavior is so very different. In his workshop, he's serious, concentrated, a proper young man who keeps his eye on everything going on, constantly on the move and in control. One has the impression that each single toy is his very own infant, and home he turns back into a child once more and is either moody or happy-go-lucky. Christmas yet again, the most wonderful Christmas of my whole life. Hans and I could not stop giggling like children. I know that he, like beneath Father's disapproving glare, I know that he was only pretending really. Our hearts are so full of hope. Hans came to see me in my bedroom yesterday evening. I felt terribly awkward, terribly ill at ease. I might have guessed Hans wants to leave Valladolid, the house and the factory. He wants to go traveling. He doesn't know where to go or for how long. That's just like him. I was so shocked that I told him his plans were foolish. He left my room without a word. His head bowed. And some pretty leaves. I thought that he wanted to leave because of Father. Not at all. It's because of the mammoths. He wants to go tracking mammoths. I thought he had gotten over his obsession. I know my brother only too well. I wouldn't dream of telling him his quest is useless. It isn't worth it. He will not listen to reason. I was so selfish the other evening. I returned to talk to Hans. I already know nothing what the reply is going. I already know what the reply is going to be. Nothing will make him change his mind. Despite my profound sadness and despair, I must help Hans fulfill the destiny he has chosen and announce the news to Father. I fear the worst. The worst was worse than my fears. Father's anger was terrifying. He shut Hans away in his workshop at the factory and has forbidden all visits except from Gertrude, who feeds him. Father has decided that Hans should remain locked up for as long as it takes to abandon his infantile decision. Gertrude tells me that Hans is very despondent yet highly resolute. The worry is driving me mad. As soon as Gertrude returns from the factory, I hasten to get news of my little brother. He doesn't say anything, he just fiddles with bits and pieces, she replies every day with a sigh. I have tried desperately to reason with Father, but I know I am just wasting my breath. Hans is 18 years old today, and he is all on his own for his birthday. In secret, Gertrude delivered to me a small robot from Hans. In secret, it works with a small cylinder punched with tiny holes. I quivered with emotion as I turned the key. The message it gave was simple. He was telling me he loved me very, very much. Gertrude gave me a different tiny cylinder for today's toy. Hans is truly incredible. He has found a means of communicating between us and us alone in total secret. My days are spent eagerly awaiting Hans's messages. He has now resolved to run away. He is preparing his escape, like if it was a game. Gertrude has returned. She's beside herself. Hans has disappeared. Father has not even deigned to return to the workshop where he locked up his son, nor find out how he managed to escape. He just gave me a black look, as if he knew we were up to something behind his back. It's beginning to dawn on me that Hans is gone. Please protect my little brother and watch over him for me, Lord. With Hans gone, Father now locks himself away night and day at the factory. The house is so gloomy now. This morning I caught Father in the drawing room installing a coffin on a trestle. What on earth is he up to? My questions meet only with stony silence and a permanent black countenance. Behind closed curtains, the drawing room with the coffin surrounded by huge candles has become a veritable funeral chamber. This is ghastly. I have just understood what Father is up to. This morning, the priest came to pray before the coffin. I finally caught on. The father is in mourning for the death of Hans. Father made the priest believe that his son was dead. How could he do such a thing? In the madness occasioned by his grief, my father grows ever more cold and calculating. He contacted his old friend, Dr. Schmoll, who duly drew up a bona fide death certificate without even seeing the body. I dare not imagine what yarn he spun. Hans's funeral will officially be held next Sunday. She's forbidden to attend. Father's mental instability to the world, the shame would kill him, that much is certain. I have to get away, far, far away. No, I will not leave. I have thought long and hard. My life is here next to my father. He needs me too much now. The factory needs me because Father is incapable of running it now. Besides, I can only find peace of mind among Hans's robots, and how shall I know when he has sent me new ones if I am not at home to receive them? No, I shall not leave. My destiny is to remain here and keep watch.
Oh boy. I'll take that, and I think this will be a good place to stop. There's a lot of reading in the last
Yeah.
good 10 or
A
so
lot of
minutes.
exposition.
Yeah.
For sure.
So the biggest things, just so that we are on the same page, we have to get Oscar's legs up.
Yeah.
Is really, I think, our biggest task after this, and exploring the rest of this attic, because I think there's more here than just this desk, so definitely give that a look in the next episode.
Sounds good.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thanks for watching.
Yes.
Oh, wait.
Oh,
We gotta do it. Mirabilia, Corviri, and Manaphy, signing off!